What is up, guys? In today's video, we'll be talking about an uptick in severe weather across a lot of the US and an increase in the heat across a lot of the US. Let's get right into today's video. The first thing we are going to talk about is we do have an enhanced risk of severe weather today across portions of Montana and central regions of Montana areas where we could have a pretty big severe weather threat for today with a very high chance for significant hail across central Montana. And we don't get this type of severe weather that often, but this high plain severe weather is definitely going into a significant uptick across a lot of the US for today with this enhanced risk of severe weather that we do have for today across this region here with a 30% significant risk of hail. So definitely bring your cars indoors, as significant 2+ inch in diameter hail can do a lot of damage for you guys out there. The tornado risk is not very high. It's really low. There's an isolated chance of maybe a tornado or two across portions of eastern Wyoming into central portions of Montana and extreme western Nebraska into extreme northeastern Colorado. But besides that, it's a really low tornado risk. So we could maybe see a tornado or two possible in that green region right there. But the highest risk for severe weather will be hail. The wind risk is isolated, but it's definitely there. We could see some isolated instances of up to 80 miles an hour winds across portions of central Montana. In the hatched area, black meaning the risk for significant winds, and then a lot of winds in any of the yellow regions. In that area, but the main highest risk for today is across Billings, Montana, Great Falls, Montana, into Helena, Montana, Laurel, Montana, and portions of Lewistown in Montana for those regions. And then a slight risk of severe weather does encompass Amarillo, Bozeman, Butte, Garden City, Kansas, and Dodge City in this region of severe weather for today. Now for tomorrow's risk, the slight risk of severe weather for tomorrow is across a lot of the similar areas that we do have for today. It does encompass portions of Billings, Montana, Rapid City, South Dakota, North Platte, Nebraska, into Gillett, Wyoming, and Sheridan, Wyoming regions in the slight risk of severe weather. So if you are in the yellow regions, you do need to be weather aware for tomorrow. For the severe weather risk for Saturday, areas across that area with the highest probability is going to be hail, with significant hail in the Black Hatch region, and hail. We could see some isolated hailstones anywhere in the yellow regions, and a isolated but there wind threat for tomorrow too. Now the tornado threat is basically the same thing as today. It's low, but a tornado too could be possible in the green region, so be weather aware in those areas. But I do think it is going to be pretty low in that area there. Now, timing for the storms tomorrow, if we do look at the HRRR model run right here, we could see some big storms start to develop tomorrow across the 8 to 9 p.m. hours, with some big storms across portions of eastern Wyoming and the central portions of Montana that could pose a risk of damaging winds, large hail, and isolated tornado too possible. But that tornado risk is extremely low, but still be weather aware for it to be possible across those areas, and more storms at 9 p.m. in southern portions of South Dakota that will continue and race across the U.S. These might be short-lived thunderstorms, but they could be pretty strong across portions of these areas that I have circled from about 6 to maybe midnight, probably. So more of an afternoon to evening risk across those areas in that part of the U.S. for tomorrow. Now, the day 3 severe weather outlook does encompass basically the similar regions. So from today all the way through Sunday, this severe weather is just going to be over the same areas over and over and over again, with this marginal risk of severe weather encompassing these regions, and then the slight risk of severe weather encompassing the same areas again in portions of southeastern Montana, into extreme southwestern North Dakota, into central and western South Dakota, and portions of north central Nebraska across these areas for day 3 on Sunday, the 15th of June, with the highest risk areas being across Rapid City, South Dakota, into Pierre, South Dakota, Spearfish, South Dakota, Miles City, Montana, into Rapid Valley, South Dakota regions. If you are in those areas, you do need to be weather aware, especially in the yellow regions, for a severe weather risk that we could have with damaging winds and large hail. Basically the same risk areas that we do have today and tomorrow will be the exact same on day 3 on Sunday too, with that severe weather risk. Now, the severe weather risk is going to continue with a slight risk of severe weather on Monday, actually, that we do have in effect. This does include just a tad bit further to the east than the last severe weather threat that we did have there. But this risk area does include Minneapolis and South Dakota, into Rochester, Minnesota, and Sioux City, Iowa regions that do need to be weather aware for the severe weather threat. Now, the day 4 severe weather is looking to be more of a large hail and damaging wind threat like the other days across portions of central and basically all of South Dakota into portions of southwestern Minnesota into south central Minnesota and portions of extreme northwestern Iowa and northern Nebraska regions that we do have in this severe weather risk that is in effect for day 4 that you do need to be weather aware of. And this will continue into day 5 with it just moving a little bit further south on Tuesday, June 17th, with a severe weather risk for portions of Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska. We could see some isolated tornadoes with this severe weather risk too, across portions of northern Kansas into extreme northeastern Colorado, into portions of basically all of Nebraska, and extreme western portions of Iowa under the severe weather risk, with North Platte, Nebraska being in the bullseye of that severe weather threat. Salina, Kansas is under that risk, and a few other areas like Omaha, Nebraska, all under the severe weather risk for day 5 that you do need to be weather aware for. Now, this is going to continue all the way to day 6, with the severe weather outlook shifting a little bit further to the east on Wednesday, with the severe weather threat for portions of northern Missouri into portions of eastern Iowa, southern Wisconsin into portions of western to northwestern Illinois regions that are under this risk. And now Milwaukee is going to be under this severe weather risk, maybe even Des Moines, Iowa, under this severe weather threat. Davenport and Dubuque. We could have Peoria, Illinois under this risk, maybe even Chicago, Illinois under the severe weather risk, and really close to Columbia, Missouri under the severe weather threat that we are going to have on day 6. Now, we are way too far to see really for this day 4 to day 6 risk. We are still really far out, and this is extremely far out, day 6 on Wednesday. To really get into huge details, once we get closer to this, we will know more information on what could happen with the severe weather threat, but I do think all hazards could be possible with damaging winds, large hail, and maybe a few tornadoes under the severe weather risk with this too. And this is going to be caused by a big increase in moisture that we are going to have. I mean, plenty of moisture across basically all of the U.S. over those next few days or so. If you can see that moisture, this is where we could have that severe weather threat on Wednesday regions right there, with that extreme amount of surface-based instability across these regions right here, where we could have the severe weather threat on Wednesday. And the reason for this is a lot of forcing and severe weather capabilities, as we're going to have tons of instability and basically just a summertime severe weather risk across these regions in the U.S. with tons of instability and moisture. This is going to aid of these thunderstorms across the high plains into portions of the Midwestern U.S. over the next few days or so. Now, for the future of the temperatures across a lot of the U.S., we are going to see a significant increase in the temperatures. It's going to feel really, really like summer across a lot of the U.S. once we get about 100 hours out from now in the next basically 6 days or so. From now, we're going to see a huge uptrend in temperatures. We maybe even could see some heat waves across a lot of the central, eastern, and western U.S., and this is going to continue for a long, long time with a lot of warmer weather. We may be seeing a lot of cooler weather across northern California into portions of Oregon and Washington over the next few weeks or so, but the main area is going to be a lot of warmer weather across the central, western, and Midwest and the Great Plains of the U.S. for a lot of, the next few weeks or so, from 1 to 2 weeks from now, a lot of increase in temperatures. And the Climate Prediction Center is actually showing this increase in the temperatures, as they do have a 6 to 10 day temperature outlook with a huge increase of temperatures across a lot of the U.S., with the only area seeing cooler than average temperatures is for Seattle areas. Sorry for you guys, but below average temperatures from June 18th to the 22nd of 2025, but above average temperatures for basically the entire U.S., basically. So anywhere in the orange all the way to the red regions and even the pink areas, we're going to see some really warm temperatures across a lot of these areas in the U.S. In the next few weeks or so, and it's just going to stay like that for a long time. So if your average temperature is 80 degrees, then it's going to feel like 90, or maybe even higher than that, as we could be seeing some heat waves across a lot of these areas too, with some areas that could reach 100-degree heat indexes across a lot of the U.S. And the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook from June 20th to 22nd really shows this, with above average temperatures across this whole area and just cooler than average temperatures across Washington, Oregon, California, and Idaho regions. But basically all the central, southern, and western US seeing really warm weather, and the eastern US all seeing really warm weather across a lot of the US here. Alright, I hope everybody did enjoy today's video. Like I did say, we're going to see a lot of an increase in severe weather with a lot of days of severe weather coming up and more above average temperatures coming to a lot of the US. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more severe weather updates and just basically to update you and keep you weather aware for the upcoming weather. So make sure to like and subscribe with notifications so you get updated on the latest weather. Hope you guys did like today's video. Make sure to stay weather aware and have fun. Hope you guys like this video, and bye everybody.